Policing and the role of the courts in Brooklyn have an overhaul coming. The borough's new district attorney, Eric Gonzalez, has launched the 2020 Justice Initiative, which is pooling the best and the brightest minds in the city, all with a common goal in mind: improvement. Over 60 people will join subcommittees this year, coming up with new ideas on everything from bail reform to the way drug addicts are treated. Even data and transparency will be under scrutiny when it comes to policing and prosecutions when they're all reviewed. Some may be asking why the district attorney wants to fix what many people say is not broken. The borough is the safest it has ever been, and the decades-long drop in crime is the envy of cities across the nation. Yet supporters of the plan say there is always room for improvement. So joining us now to explain all of this in a Metro Focus exclusive, District Attorney of Brooklyn, Eric Gonzalez joins us now with insight into how this new effort will work. Mr. District Attorney, nice to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start off with that first notion that I just mentioned here. The statistics have been very encouraging. Obviously, you always want to see them get better in terms of the incidence of crime. But clearly, what is being done in Kings County and Brooklyn has been trumpeted as a means to success in terms of fighting crime. Why then did you feel that what you wanted to do is take a whole new look at everything, this 2020 initiative, and make significant changes if warranted?
You know, we've helped lead the way to safety in the city in Brooklyn. The decrease in violent crime in particular in Brooklyn is staggering for people, especially people like myself who've lived there, you know, my entire life and, remember what Brooklyn was like in the 80s and the 90s. So we've done an incredible job in making sure that Brooklyn remains a safe place and gets better and stronger. But in order to reach and to continue progress in making sure that we're safe, we need to sort of figure out how we bring the community to trust law enforcement. And there's been, a divide in many parts of the city. We've seen it across the country where community at times does not feel law enforcement is an ally or has their best interest at heart. And in Brooklyn, we're in this great place right now. We are safer. Business is booming in the borough. Families are moving in. We're growing exponentially in Brooklyn, and we are safer than before. So we can talk about issues of reform now that we couldn't do in the 90s or the 80s.
I mentioned putting together teams of folks looking at different things. Where the people are going to come from, and what is the mission going to be?
Well, the mission is simple. I'm the Brooklyn DA. I'm responsible for keeping Brooklyn safe. But I'm also responsible for strengthening trust in our justice system. And I believe you can only do that by ensuring fairness and equal justice for everyone. We've started a trend in Brooklyn about 3 years ago where our approach to keeping Brooklyn safe was based on focusing in on the very small, and it's really a very small percentage of people. We estimate it to be about 0.5% of people who are violent drivers of crime. And we work very closely with the police department to identify who these people are and to make sure anytime they come into the system that their cases are taken very seriously, that they don't get breaks that aren't deserving. We estimate that this small handful of people are responsible for 70% of violent crime in our borough.
Those are staggering numbers.
These are your shooters and your robbers and your burglars, and these are the people who will hurt our families. And so the effort's been over the last few years, and I think this is how we've driven down crime in the borough, to focus in on them. And not just to be reactive when they commit a crime, but to pay attention to them, to focus in on them. And we've gone back and built cases that had been previously closed because we understand that they were the responsible parties.
Bail reform. We've heard a lot of talk about bail reform. What's your sense of what needs to be done and what can be done in Brooklyn?
It's very simple. Bail has been meant historically in our state to secure someone's return to court. It's not meant to detain someone who you think is guilty, as there's an effort to close Rikers Island, as there's an effort to make sure there's more fairness in our justice system. We look at who's on our Rikers Island, and 75% of the people on Rikers Island are not there because they were actually convicted of a crime, but because they have a future trial coming up. So pre-trial detention. And out of that group, a full 90% of them, 89 to 90%, are either Black or Hispanic people who are simply in Rikers Island because they could not afford a very small amount of bail. So it has become an issue of racial and social justice, but it's also become an issue that the system seemingly has a system for people who can afford bail and those who can't afford bail. And so I'm advocating that our bail system be changed, that our bail system hold people in who are a threat to public safety, but people who are not a threat to public safety, they should not be kept in pretrial.
So we're going to bring you back tomorrow, and we're going to continue our conversation with the district attorney and what the biggest challenges are that he's going to face in the coming months ahead. So he's going to be back. Hope you'll join us also.